I've made a ton of mistakes in my lifting career, but I've narrowed down three of the lifting mistakes that everybody needs to avoid because these three are killing your gains. All right. So, lifting mistake number one, assuming, especially nowadays, that you need to do optimal exercises. This is the new fad thing. This exercise is optimal, so I need to do this exercise. This exercise is suboptimal. I shouldn't do this. This is big right now with bench press. A lot of people are calling bench press a suboptimal movement. Squats, a suboptimal movement. In lieu of squats, you should be doing a machine squat. In lieu of bench press, you should be doing cable press arounds. Ridiculous. There's no such thing as an optimal exercise. Let's travel back in time. Currently, as I record this, it's 2024. Now, let's go back to early 2000s. 2004, that's kind of like when I started, 2004-ish. Okay, so 2004, who were the big names in the fitness industry? Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all those, Jay Cutler, all those guys. That was the era of bodybuilding at the time. And what did those guys' routines consist of? Heavy compound movements. And that was optimal at the time. Every bodybuilder, when you walked into the gym, everybody did those movements. Everybody. Nowadays, there's so much, fast forward to 2024, there's so much science that has come out that talks about these optimal exercises and this and that. But yet, it seems to me that the average person walking around is actually far less muscular than they used to be back in 2004. When I started in 2004, almost every guy in the gym was jacked. And who was in the gym? Construction workers, people who worked at desks. It didn't matter. But everybody walked around and they were pretty muscular. And they did a lot of suboptimal movements. So there's no such thing as optimal, suboptimal. It's whatever you feel in the targeted muscle and where you place it in the workout. So, for example, if you look at Jay Cutler doing a bench press, he kind of did long length partials before that was actually a thing. He would take the dumbbells, come all the way down, stop about halfway, come back down, and do that again. So he was doing long length partials before it was optimal, right? But he's still doing a bench press. So all of these things that come out, they all have their place. So for example, a meat and potatoes chest workout would be the barbell bench press, focusing on getting really strong in that movement, maybe an inclined dumbbell. And then once you're tired, maybe you finish with like a cable press around. So you have to figure out where these things are. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, and the mistake that most people make is, they avoid the suboptimal exercises because this scientific paper on newbie lifters said that you shouldn't do that. And they're leaving so many gains on the table by doing that. So stop assuming that you need to do optimal exercises and just focus on what you feel in the targeted muscle. That goes a long way. And try to keep your routine as basic as possible. Don't get complicated with it. Like I said, rewind to 2004. It wasn't anything fancy in anyone's routine at the time. So keep that in mind. All right. Mistake number two, more weight equals more muscle. That was a big thing. We rewind to 2004. It was a big thing then. You got to just pile on the weight, It's kind of like what I grew up on. You got to slap as much weight as you can on the bar. That's what's going to help you grow. It is and it isn't. It is in the sense that you're going to recruit more muscles when you utilize more weight, but you have to be able to do that while still keeping tension on the targeted muscle. I'll give you a good example. Heavy barbell curls. Arnold was a component of this. You must do heavy cheek curls. And while heavy cheek curls have their place, the problem is that after a while, you start racking on more and more weight for the barbell curl. You start cheating the weight up. What starts to happen? You start taking the tension off the biceps. And that's not good because if you want to develop a big set of arms, you need to keep the tension on the targeted muscle. So it's not always about beating the logbook and always trying to maximize how much you can bench. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. It's cool to bench 400 pounds, but you want to look like you bench 400 pounds. So you want to kind of keep that in mind too. So there's definitely a fine balance between it. I'm not saying to avoid adding weight to the bar. I'm not saying that. You should definitely always be striving to add more weight to the bar, but don't do it in lieu of less feeling in the targeted muscle. Don't do that. That's not good. All right. And the mistake number 3 that I constantly see, and the mistake that you need to avoid, is that you're not stimulating the muscles frequently enough. I have found over my 20-year career that frequency really has made a difference in my physique. When I went from training body parts once a week to twice a week, I saw tremendous growth doing that. And it makes sense. Okay, I blasted my chest on Monday. Does it really need 7 days to recover? Probably not, right? You're probably good to go anywhere between 4, 5, 3 to 5 days. Right? You're probably good to go again. Instead of having the muscle just sit there for another 7 days. And you know what I'm talking about. If you ever trained once a week, a body part, and then switched to twice a week, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you have that point where you're like, okay, I feel recovered. I feel like I can get back into the gym. And that's the point that you need to go back and stimulate that muscle again, because you're missing windows of opportunity to grow for growth in that muscle. So look at your frequency. Are you training everything once a week? If so, you might want to try bumping it up to twice a week. So what you would do in that case is you cut your volume in half. So let's say on Monday you're doing chest and you're doing 10 sets of chest. Cut that in half and do 5 sets twice a week and watch the improvement that you see. Frequency is a big thing. You want to try to hit the muscles at least twice a week. I believe, it's my personal preference, and for all the clients that I coach, that is the most optimal amount of frequency. There's that word, optimal. Most optimal frequency I see for people to actually get results. And again, it makes sense because one muscle doesn't need 7 days to recover. You're probably good anywhere between 3 and 5 days. So as long as you're within that range, you're good to go and you'll unlock more growth, right? And because you made it this far into the video, you know what I got? I got a free gift for you. I have a free 6-week training program that I want to give you. No strings attached. I actually want to help you build more muscle and avoid all the mistakes that I made along my 20-year journey. All right, guys? This was Anthony, and I'll catch you on the next one.